Very good point. What do you think the most important, how can we aren't, the Lord isn't asking us to go out and sell everything we have and then distribute it equally to all the members of the ward. But what principle in our life can we live that will show the Lord that we are following His desire that we help others, to lift others, to bless other people's lives? Yes, Susan.
Tithing.
Tithing?
Fast offering.
And what else?
Fast offering.
And fast offerings. Fast offerings is probably a great barometer in our life with regards to this principle. Yes.
Well, so my dad's stake in Missouri, they've all gone down to Louisiana to help with the cleanup down there, and it's absolutely humanitarian. They're not proselytizing.
No.
Because they're not prepared to receive the Lord right now. They're devastated with their physical needs, and I think we see that on Temple Square, on Welfare Square, that we don't go into impoverished countries and send missionaries without sending food and clean water and supplies first.
It's hard to read the Book of Mormon if you don't have enough to eat.
Yeah.
If you don't have a roof over your head. That's exactly right. And so for you and I, what can we take from this? We can take from this that when we get our slip, our donation slip, we look on there and we pay tithing. Of course, everybody knows tithing. We pay tithing. But that is not the end of things. If that is the end of things, we're in trouble. Yes, Stuart.
I think the other part of we're talking temporally, but also on a spiritual sense, is just fulfilling our own church calling. We are helping others and doing the thing that the Lord would want us to do in sharing what we know.
Sharing our time, our talents. Absolutely, great point. I would hope that everyone here would look at that deposit slip and say, fast offering. How much can I contribute to fast offerings? Well, we know that even the poorest of the poor, the guy that's dead beat out, he can fast 2 meals and give the contribution to those 2 meals, $5. If we are doing that, we probably need to take a look at ourselves and say, am I doing enough to bless the lives of other people? Am I giving of myself? Remember that President Romney said, if we will double our fast offerings, the Lord will double His blessings. Now that's an arithmetic progression, and at some point it just shorts out. I mean, you know, I'm giving $283,000 to fast offering. But it's something that we need to look at. We need to look at paying fast offerings. And whatever we're paying, we need to consider doubling it, or tripling it, or just increasing it by 10% or 15%. But we need to look at what we are paying, because that goes to the poor. The other line item on there that is new, yes, Sister Murdoch.
The humanitarian aid is one of the most important things, I think, for me. When I see someone begging on the street, if I know that I have given the humanitarian aid, I feel like I have done my part.
Good point. And that's exactly what I was going to say. The other line item there to look at is humanitarian aid. And that is where your father, they're going down, and they're not only just cleaning up homes, the church is donating millions of dollars in food, clothing, and in cash to these people that have been ravaged by this tremendous storm in Louisiana. And they get that money from people who donate to the humanitarian aid line item. And so we need to look at that, because that can be counted right in there with the fast offering. And so if we're not doing that, I'm not here to give you guilt. Well, I am here to give you a little guilt. But if we're not doing that, we need to look at that and say, what can I do? That's how this scripture applies to me. We're not doing the law of consecration these days. Nobody's asking us to do that. But the church definitely is asking us to increase fast offerings. If you listen to last conference talk, they talked about humanitarian aid. They talked about fast offerings. Why? Because there's an incredible need. Yes, Sister Russell.
Well, I agree, all of that is wonderful, but we can also be equal in being missionaries because we can all hand out pass-along cards.
Well, that's even taking it one step further. Thank you for that. That's an excellent suggestion. Okay, so enough said, enough guilt out there. Okay, verse 10. Satan seeketh to turn their hearts away from the truth, that they become blinded and understand not the things which are prepared for them. This should be in glowing ink. That's exactly what Satan is doing today. He is seeking to turn the hearts away from the truth by blinding people so that they don't understand the truth. That's the bottom line for the internet. For all of these things that are happening. They don't care what they say, just so long as they can blind you and confuse you and make you start to question. But that is how he does it. Okay. That in verse 14, that the church may stand independent above all creatures beneath the celestial world. That's the welfare program. They want the church to stand independent. They don't want the church to be dependent on any organization, anything, anywhere. And we have, if you ever want to blow your mind, just Google the church welfare program and just see how many welfare centers. I mean, we got Welfare Square down here. That's just one of hundreds worldwide. But the church wants us to stand independent. They want the church to stand independent, but they want us to stand independent. They want us to be independent in terms of providing for ourselves, our families. They want us to stand independent in terms of our faith, that we're not dependent on any one other person for our faith, but that we have in and of ourselves that rock-hard testimony that allows us to stand when any wind will blow. Okay, section 79. We're probably, I don't mean to rush, but yeah, we have to rush. Okay, this is an interesting one. Jared Carter is called to serve a mission. And why is this important to us? Poopy little section. It says that he is called to go to the eastern countries from place to place and from city to city in the power of the ordination wherewith he has been ordained, proclaiming glad tidings of great joy, even everlasting gospel. And I will send upon him the Comforter, which shall teach him the truth and the way whither he shall go. So here is this guy by the name of Jared Carter, who 99% of us in this room didn't know before this, and we didn't care. And we still don't care about Jared Carter. Except that Jared Carter was given a calling. And in conjunction with that calling, the Lord said, the power of the ordination wherewith he's been ordained, he goes in the power of his ordination. Now, most of the people in this room have been given a calling. You've been set apart to that calling. And we are to carry that calling forth in the ordination that we have been given. In other words, we are to magnify that calling. That's what the Lord is telling him to do. He's saying, go forth in the power of your ordination. And if you do that, what will happen? I will give you the Comforter, which will teach you the truth. And not only that, it will teach you the way that you should go. So here we have a commandment with a promise. And this is given to everybody in this room. If we will take our calling and go forth in our ordination and magnify, think about it. I have been called to be the choir leader. I've been called to be whatever that calling is, where we think about it, pray about it, and say, I want to go forth in the ordination that I've been given. I want to be able to give I want to be able to do exactly what you, Heavenly Father, want me to do. And as we seek to do it with that idea, the Lord will what? He will teach us the truth. So the more, here we have the Relief Society, Stake Relief Society presidency. The more they seek to do their calling in the ordination they begin in, which is code for the way the Lord would like to have them do it, they will grow in truth of this gospel. In other words, their testimonies will be strengthened. They will be stronger in the faith. And not only that, the way whither they should know the way to go. Not only the way to go for the Stake Relief Society. They'll know the way to go in everything, with their children, with their grandchildren. And it's the same for all of us. Sometimes we receive a calling, and we take that calling and kind of, I got this calling. Welfare. I'm in charge of welfare. I can't even believe that they do, And we just drag our left foot going into this calling. And we do the bare minimum. As a matter of fact, there's always somebody propping, well, you got the thing that, well, oh no, I don't have that, I'll get that. Instead of just attacking it and being on top of it. That's what we're talking about here. This happened to Jared Carter, but you can insert anybody's name here. And it's not just going on a mission, it's any calling. The idea is that we magnify our callings. And in return, look at what the Lord gives us. He gives us a stronger testimony. And He guides us. He shows us the way. In everything that we do. Section 80. This is to Stephen Burnett and Eden Smith. And it's the same thing. Wherefore, verse 3, wherefore go ye and preach my gospel. Whither to the north or to the south, to the east or the west, it mattereth not. For ye cannot go amiss. Therefore declare the things which ye have heard, and verily believe and know to be true. Why is this section in here? Well, I hear they're going to go on a mission. And they're going, well, where should we go? Doesn't matter. Just get going. Because everybody needs you out there. You go to the north, you can go to the south, east, and west. Man, just go. And so sometimes we hold back. We go, well, gee, what should I do here? Move, man, raus. Just get going. And just, that's why this revelation is here. And I'm sort of editing it a skosh, but I think that's what we're talking about. Okay, section 81. This is a revelation given to Joseph Smith at Hiram, Ohio, March 15, 1832. In this revelation, Frederick G. Williams is called to serve as a counselor in the First Presidency. The First Presidency was organized in January 1832. This revelation is completing the First Presidency. The problem is that Frederick G. Williams was ordained to be a member of the First Presidency in 1833, 1 year later. Why? Well, because of a guy by the name of Jesse Gause. You'll see his name in here about a third of the way. In March of 1832, it called this very revelation called Jesse Gause to be a counselor, second counselor to Joseph Smith. Sidney Rigdon was first counselor. Jesse Gause was second counselor. And Jesse Gause, how many here have heard of Jesse Gause? Good old Jess. Yeah. Okay, and that's kind of how life is going to be for him on the next side. Because he went with Joseph Smith shortly after his ordination. He was set apart as a member, as the second counselor in the First Presidency, went to Missouri with Joseph Smith, did some things there, functioned as a First Presidency, came back and was called I think it was with Brother Murdoch, to go on a mission. And they started on their trip, and about a week into it, Brother Murdoch got these severe headaches and said, I got to go back home. And Brother Gause said, I'm going to go on without you. And he just walked right out of Church Street. Never heard from him again. Did not magnify his calling. And so he, you know, anyway, but that's just the history behind